are expected to show a clear understanding of the importance of agriculture in our economy and as part of our national security. Our recipients fight to ensure equitable access for rural Americans in relation to business, healthcare, educational, and other opportunities. They place a value on doing the right thing and serve the public above any political party. And they consistently work across the aisle, placing an emphasis on bipartisanship in their legislative work or advocacy. But we also expect that each recipient show perseverance in the fight for rural Americans and embody our core values of faith, hope, charity, and fidelity, and live by our motto, in essentials unity, in non-essentials liberty, in all things charity. So our first awardee, Senator Pat Roberts. He's devoted his life in public service to preserving, protecting, and enhancing the rural way of life. He's fought to ensure that rural areas are able to compete equally with their urban counterparts for federal funding and in policy decisions. As chairman of the Senate Rural Health Caucus, a member of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, and the Senate Finance Committee, Senator Roberts is uniquely positioned to continue to improve access to quality health care for rural patients. He has supported small businesses, the backbone of the rural economy, by calling for pro-growth policies on Main Street and Wall Street. He's the first member of Congress in history to serve as chairman of both the House and Senate Agriculture Committee. Currently, he's negotiating his 8th farm bill, where programs for USDA's rural development will be strengthened and improved. Rural families, businesses, and local leaders have an accomplished champion in Senator Roberts, no matter the challenge: housing, nutrition, broadband deployment, emergency disaster response, energy, transportation, and care for rural seniors. Senator Roberts has been there at every turn for rural America, and the National Grange is pleased to recognize him as a champion for rural America.
I think they want to get a picture of you. Yet another picture here.
She's live streaming. So.
Live, you're good.
Oh,
Okay.
we better be careful. Thank you. Madam President, thank you very much for this honor. I appreciate it, and thank you for reading everything that my staff wrote here with regards to what I have been doing here for the last 38 years or something like that. It's a real privilege to receive this honor. We have two other very privileged gentlemen to receive this honor, so I'm going to try to make my remarks brief. I know that you find that difficult for any senator to make any remarks brief. But as Henry VIII said to one of his wives, I won't keep you long. Sorry for that. My wife said, don't tell that joke. But thank you. And thank you to the Grange. 1867, that's when the Grange started. You are the oldest, but yet still tremendously effective farm organization. I was told that this building was dedicated by Dwight David Eisenhower. I knew that. I was here. I actually came in during the Coolidge administration. But I appreciate your help. You know, when you're riding point and you want to look back at the herd with the ag posse, you want to make sure they're still there. And the Grange has always been there, regardless of the issue. This time it's been the Farm Bill. And I am very glad to report to you, as I just talked to AJ over here, we're very close. And we, in essence, have it done, but you got to cross every T and you got to dot every I. and then you must have a score that makes sense. And if it doesn't, you've got to recalculate. We are in that process, but it should be done in about a day or two. So we will pass this farm bill, I am predicting, by the end of this week. Obviously, the services for our great president, President Bush, won. This is a good time to remember President Bush and what he stood for, and his whole demeanor with regards to handling things. Let me just say thank you for your efforts in the Farm Bill with regards to conservation, which I know is very near and dear to your heart, and with research, and we have, I think, a pretty robust title there. And the most important thing, which we heard in every hearing that we had, starting, by the way, Manhattan, Kansas. He's a KU guy, I'm a K-State guy. But we started in Manhattan 2 years ago. The very things that they recommended are the very things we put first and foremost, and I'm very proud of the crop insurance title as well. So I think we have a very good farm bill. It is bipartisan. I think, and I know that the Agriculture Committee is the least partisan committee that we have in the Congress, and we know that if we don't work together, we either hang together or hang separately. So, but it's been a joy to work with Senator Stabenow. She and I worked, this isn't our first rodeo, on the 214 bill, and we will continue working until this is done, and I would predict to you that within a week's period that it will be done. Hope there's no press here. Anyway, but that's our goal. Thank you so much for this award. I truly appreciate it. Come up and see your award in my office. Thank you.
Our second awardee is Federal Communications Commission Chairman Ajit Pai. He's a son of rural America, and his background has informed his work at the FCC. Under his leadership, the FCC has made bridging the digital divide its top priority. Having grown up in Parsons, Kansas, Chairman Pai recognizes the importance of connecting rural America and has taken numerous actions to help extend broadband access across the country. For example, the FCC held a groundbreaking reverse auction this summer and plans another in 2019 that together will allocate about $6 billion to provide hundreds of thousands of unserved rural homes and small businesses with high-speed fixed internet access. In addition, the chairman has shepherded through reforms to remove many regulatory barriers, lowering the cost and expediting the process of building broadband networks. The chairman has also spent considerable time in rural America, visiting 41 states and 2 territories, and driving more than 11,000 miles to see firsthand the challenges posed by the digital divide and the benefits that can be achieved by closing it. He's been devoted to the cause of expanding broadband into rural America since his appointment as chairman of the FCC. In my work the last 2 years on the FCC's Broadband Deployment Advisory Committee, I've been impressed by his continual focus on this goal and the many regulatory changes he has initiated to accomplish equality of access for all areas of our country. Chairman Pai.
Sure, I was told to prepare 60 minutes of remarks on the nuances of telecom regulation. Is that correct? But no, in all seriousness, thank you so much, Betsy. Thank you to the National Grange for this award. I am deeply humbled by the honor, and it's even more of a privilege to stand alongside my good friend and the leader of our state, Senator Pat Roberts. And I want to thank him for his years of public service on behalf of the people of Kansas and for the country, including in the United States Marine Corps. Also want to thank our other awardees well for the dedication to the cause of rural America. For our part, as Betsy pointed out, there are a number of things we've done to address the digital divide, the gap between those rural Americans who haven't been able to participate in the digital revolution and those in more urban areas who do. And your eyes would frankly glaze over at some of the reforms. Reforms to Part 32 accounting rules and 28 gigahertz spectrum and the like. But I thought I'd talk very briefly, not so much about what we're doing, but why it matters. As Betsy pointed out, I've been to now 41 states and the territories of Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands since I became chairman in January of 2017. And you know the importance of the FCC's work when you look in the face of the 13-year-old I met 3 months ago in the Jimenez Pueblo of New Mexico, when she tells you almost with tears in her eyes that for the first time, because her school just got broadband, she can do her homework. You see it in the eyes of the farmer I met in King Hill, Idaho, who told me that he's a third-generation potato farmer, and now because of things like 4G LTE and wireless apps that allow him to monitor his soil, he can be 100 times more productive on his farm than his father was before him. You see it in the eyes of the superintendent of the Allen County Schools, a lower-income county in Kentucky. There are many thousands of students in Allen County, Kentucky. There's not a single pediatrician. And to look at the superintendent and the parents who told me, because of a broadband connection between Allen County Schools and Vanderbilt University's Children's Hospital, hundreds of miles away, for the first time, parents can drop their kids off at school, knowing with confidence that if their child gets sick, all he or she has to do is walk to the school nurse's office, and you can be seen by some of the best practitioners in this country. You get to see it in the eyes of somebody in St. Johnsbury, Vermont, where a cheesemaker, of all things, told me that high-speed internet access has allowed him to create a business and hire people who otherwise would be living in bigger cities to help make world-class cheese that has won a nationally renowned award for 2 years running. You see it in the eyes of Chad and Courtney Lotman, a couple I met in Diller, Nebraska, population 187. 20 years ago, they had the foresight when they realized that people were dropping off deer carcasses on their front lawn. It wasn't so much of a Godfather move, they were actually looking for the couple to help dress them and the like. They thought we should sell this online. Fast forward 20 years, because of high-speed internet access, they now process that into jerky that you can buy at Whole Foods and Giants all over the country. They now ship to all 50 states and around the world. They are hiring people from Omaha and Lincoln who want the lifestyle of rural America. And I tell you these stories not to brag about my travel schedule, but to tell you that there are stories in rural America that you're never going to see on the front pages of the New York Times, that the big cable networks are never going to cover. But this is the backbone of America. This is the human capital we're leaving off on the shelf if we don't get digital opportunities, I call it, to every nook and cranny of this country. And it's been such a great privilege to serve in this position as chairman of the FCC, to work with people like Betsy and the Grange, to admire the leadership of leaders like Senator Roberts, because I truly believe we have one chance to get this right. I believe that rural America is at a crossroads, and if we do get it right, there's no telling how many generations in the future are going to benefit from the same lifestyle we enjoyed growing up. That's the lifestyle I want for everybody in rural America, and I hope to work with you to continue to deliver that. And to get to this award is a tremendous honor, but I think it signals to me that our job isn't yet done. We have more to do, and I look forward to helping to do it over the next 2 years. Thank you.
And our third awardee. For more than 30 years, the National Rural Health Association has advocated for rural America by advancing policies that improve rural health care. The National Rural Health Association is a national nonprofit and nonpartisan membership organization with more than 21,000 members, all of whom share the common bond of an interest in rural health. NRHA promotes a clear mission of improving the delivery of health services in rural areas and helping rural citizens build, maintain, and improve the institutions that can meet their healthcare needs. NRHA serves rural communities by providing relevant and timely information and best practices to all people who care about the health of rural America through workshops, conferences, and technical assistance. The delivery of healthcare in rural America is constantly changing, and NRHA strives to improve the health of the 60 million who call rural America home. National Grange is pleased to recognize the National Rural Health Association as a champion of rural America. Okay.
Well, it is truly an honor and a privilege to be here. I am honored to be the third Kansan to be here. I am even more honored to be the second Jayhawk to speak. I am truly honored to be the second resident of Holton, Kansas, who grew up there to be able to speak tonight.
Wow.
All right.
Okay, but with all that out on the open, it's truly an honor to be here and be recognized by the Grange, which is a national, strong, and powerful voice for rural America. It has been wonderful for our organization, which champions the health of all rural communities, to be able to have such a strong partner here in Washington, D.C. to provide the voice for those of us that call rural America home. One thing that I really particularly enjoy and appreciate working with Grange is both the Grange and the National Rural Health Association recognize that rural America has tremendous assets. We have a sense of community, we have a sense of place. We are where innovation begins. So often in our nation's capital, we hear about what we don't have, the challenges, the health disparities. I think it's really important to have strong, powerful voices to talk about the assets of our communities that we come from. And that is the reason why, through a shared vision of what rural America is and what it can become, we've been so successful on a number of issues working together, whether it be health or agriculture or small business, because they're all tied in to what we need rural America to be. And I want you all to know you have such a powerful voice here in D.C., boots on the ground with Burton Eller, which I have truly enjoyed working with for, should I say, almost 30 years now. I hate to say that, but it's nice to have that steady, firm, powerful voice, a champion for rural America. So I hope you all recognize the asset as an organization that you have here in D.C. I look forward to many more years ahead of advocating on behalf of rural America to make sure that the future for rural is as bright as the past has been for so many of us. So thank you so much on behalf of the National Rural Health Association.
Thank you so much. Congratulations again to our awardees, and thank you very much for coming to be with us tonight. And thanks to all of you for being here, and please enjoy the hors d'oeuvres and fellowship. Thank you.